today we are going to discuss with our new topic data types. As you know that data types are very much important part of any programming language, and these are responsible for telling us what kind of data we are using, we are working on, and what are the various operations which we can perform on our data. So in any programming, data type plays an important concept, and all the data which is being stored in variables are of different types, as we have different type of data present with us, and we have to perform all kind of operations on those data. But we cannot perform every kind of operation on each type of data available with us. So data type help us to identify the type of data, and also help us to decide which kind of operation we can perform on the various categories of data we have. So in Python, we have enormous type of data. Some of those are text type, which is generally represented in a string, numeric type, that is int, float, and complex data type, sequence types, that is list, tuple, range, mapping type, that is dictionary, set type, that is set, boolean type, that is bool. So we have various kind of data available with us in Python, and by default the data type which is being supported by Python is the string. So all the data which we are taking in by default get stored in a string type, and we perform all the operations which are being performed on a string on the data available with us. So for any other kind of data, we have to typecast or change the type of data with the help of typecast operator. And in today's lecture, we are going to discuss how many types of data is available within the Python, and what are the various operators which we can use to perform operations on these kind of data. So setting the data type. How to set data type or how to initialize the values to variables in the Python. So in Python, it is very much simple to assign any value to the variable. For example, if I am using a string type data, so what I have to write? I have to write the variable name, and within double quotes, I have to write the string. So whatever string I write within these double quotes will get stored in X, and the type of data when I take output will be string type. So automatically, as data is stored in the is a string type, it will get stored in the X, and what will be the type of X? It is string. Now in second example, if suppose I take X equals to 20, so as 20 is the integer number, so X will return the type of data as int when I used to predict the output of X. So it will return int type, because data which is being stored in X is integer type. Next, if I take 20.5, so now I am storing float type data in the variable X. So when I used to print the output, it will return the type of data as float. Now it has written 1J, it is complex data type. So when I used to print the return type or the data type of X, it will return complex type data. Now next we have X, and within a square bracket it is written multiple strings, that is apple, banana, and cherry. So as I have written the data multiple strings within square brackets, so it is list. Whenever we want to use data in list type, we used to write that data, multiple data in the square brackets. So X will automatically analyze this data as the list type. So what is going to be the type of data of X here? In this statement, it is list. Now if I write in parenthesis, this will become tuple. So when there is a small difference between list and tuple, that is in list data is stored within square brackets, and in tuple list data is stored in parenthesis. Next, X is equals to, within curly brackets it is written name colon Amit, age colon 36, which means it is dictionary type. So when I will print the data type of X, it will return dictionary. Because dictionary, in dictionary we used to map the data. So here how mapping is done, name is assigned a value Amit and age is assigned a value 36. Now if I write X is equals to apple, banana and cherry, this is set. And within curly brackets, I am only defining the strings. No mapping is done, that is set type. So it is a set of a string which is having various fruits name. Next, if I write X is equals to true or X equal to false, it is Boolean type. In Boolean, we have data either in true form or false form. So whenever it is written true, it is Boolean type data. So it will return bool. Now, Python numbers. When we are dealing with the numbers, so either we will take the whole numbers or the integer numbers, or we take the decimal type number, that is floating point. And third type is the complex number, where you have the directions or you can say vector data type. So in Python, we can use int for our whole numbers, that is, and that integer number can be either negative or positive. For example, I have taken 1, I have taken this number as integer, as this as negative number. So I can take any number that is whole number either in positive or negative form that represent the int. Next we have float, means I am using the data which is containing decimal part or fractional part. So in this, for example, I have written 1.10, it is 1.0 minus 35.59. Again, I can take float number as positive or negative, but criteria is that the number should be in the format of decimal. Means after decimal, there should be at least one number, so that we can identify, or the Python can identify that it is a float type data. If there is no number after decimal, we can simply put it as 5.0, so that just like this particular example, that is, I am representing 1, I am having multiple numbers, and in this 1 is a number which do not have any decimal place in front of it. So I simply put 0.0, which will convert this number into float. So whenever there is certain data that do not have any decimal part or fractional part, just put it point and then 0. Again, we can have positive as well as negative number for the float also. Next, we have complex. Now, complex numbers are written with a j or imaginary part. Means whenever we want to use our imaginary part data, as you have studied in your mathematics, you are using the vector equations or the iota type equations, then for those numbers there is a feature in Python that you can use complex data type. Here you can represent real data plus imaginary data. So it is written 3 plus 5j, that is real part and the imaginary part, and or you can simply write 5j or minus 5j. Means whenever you are using complex data type, it is necessary to write the imaginary part of the equation. Real part may or may not exist, but imaginary part must be present over there within your equation. Again, imaginary part can be positive or negative. It is as per the given data or the data set which we are working on. Next, the Python strings. Now, how to represent a string in Python? So, in Python, we can represent a string or we can store a string in 3 ways. That is, either in single quote, I can write H in single quote, that is a string. I can write H in double quotes, that is also a string. And I can also write in triple quotes H, like this. So all the 3 methods are valid methods while we are representing a string in Python. Generally, we use single quote or double quotes. Triple quotes are generally used when we use multiple line strings in our program. So when we deal with the multiple line string input in the program, we generally use triple quotes. Otherwise, we normally use single quote or double quotes. So there is no error when we are using triple quotes. It is also a valid notation in the Python. So the syntax is very much simple to store the string in the Python. That is, simply write variable and is equals to, within double quotes it is written hello. Now print A. Now what will be printed? It will print hello. Now strings are arrays. Now Python does not have a character data type. Okay, as we have studied in other languages that character data type is there, but in Python it does not support char data type. So a single character is simply a string with length 1. Means if I am writing A or H, so H is also a string whose length is 1. And square brackets can be used to access element of the string. Means if I have written hello, in that particular case, it is written, if it is like this, A is equals to hello. So A0 is what? A0 is H. A1 is E. Like this. So each and every element or character of the string can be accessed with the help of square brackets, that is known as slice operator in terms of Python. Okay? You can see the syntax also. It is written hello world and print A1. So what it will print? It will print E, because index starts from 0. Next, string length. So to calculate the length of the string, there is a function len, and within this len function, simply write the variable name which is storing the input in the form of a string. It will print the length of the string. For example, I have written hello world here and print length A. So what it will print? It will print the total number of characters present within this string. So what is going to be the output? It is 13. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for hello, 5 for world, 1 for comma, 1 for space, and 1 for this exclamatory mark. That is 13. So 5 plus 2 plus 5 plus 1, like this. That is 13. Now Python slicing strings. Now whenever we want to read the part of the string, or we want to create some substrings from our data, for that we require slicing. So slicing will return a range of characters by using the slice syntax. So it is up to us what part of the string we want to analyze or we want to extract from the given string, and for that purpose we use the slice function, which is simply defined by defining the starting point colon the stop point. So from start point to stop point, whatever range is defined is being extracted from the string and output will be generated on the basis of that. For example, if it is written B is equals to hello world, now print B within a square bracket it is written 2 colon 5, which means the data which is present over a string 2, 3 and 4 will get extracted from the input string. So at 2, what we have, if I write the string number index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 is L, 3 is L and 4 is O. So what is going to be the output of this? It is LLO. Now slice from the start. If suppose I want to start extracting the string from the starting position, so I can skip the start part. I can simply write B colon 5, which means the starting point of extraction of a string is the 0th index and the last point is 4. That is 1 less than the number which is being defined at the end point. So starting from 0 till 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what it will print? It will simply print hello. And in the same manner, if I want to extract the data till the end, but I want to specify the starting point from where the data will start extracting. So I have to write the starting point colon, now skip the end part. So what I will write? I will write B2 colon. So what it will print? Starting from the second index, it will print till the last will. So what it will print? It is written hello world, So what it will print? Starting from the second index 0, 1, 2 means starting from L. So what it will print? It will print hello, comma, space, world. This is going to be the output for the statement. Now, Python operators. Now, as we have discussed the types of data which is available with us in Python. Now, what are the various kind of operations we can perform on those data? So, for that purpose, we have various Python operators defined within the Python language, which perform various operations on the data which is being present with us. So, we can divide Python operators into following groups, that is arithmetic operators, assignment operator, comparison, logical, identity, membership or bitwise operator. So, as we all know what are the basic arithmetic operators, but while we are performing arithmetic operations, we must ensure that the type of data, that is data type of the variable on which arithmetic operation is being performed, must contain number data type, that is int, float or complex. So, if you are taking input data in a string form, we cannot perform arithmetic operations. We can only perform arithmetic operations on integer, float or complex type of data. So, we have to keep in mind that various operators work on various type of data, but we must ensure that what kind of data we are having and what are the various operations which are being supported by those data values. So, for example, I am taking the arithmetic operators. Now, I have taken the input x is equals to 5 and y is equals to 3. So, for addition, it is simple, that is plus operator is used, and what is going to be the output, that is 8. It is quite simple, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. We used to perform all these operations in day-to-day life, and these are the symbols which are used or supported in every programming language. The changes comes from the modulus operation. So, for modulus operation, we use the percentile sign, which is used to give the remainder part of the data. So, x is 5 and y is equals to 3. So, when we divide 5 divide by 3, the output is 1.67. Okay? But if I consider the modulus operator, so what modulus operator will provide? It will provide me the remainder part. So, when I divide 5 by 3, so it is divided by 1 times and I get remainder as 2. So, answer will be 2. Now, x 2 times asterisk y. This comprises of exponential, means power. So, if I want to write the equation 2 cube, so what I have to write? I have to write 2 times asterisk 3. So, what it will return? It will return 8. In this example also, it is x exponential y. So, that is 5 to the power 3, that is 125. Next is floor division, means without rounding off. So, as you know that when I divided 5 by 3, the result is 1.67. But I do not want the decimal part. I only want the integer part of the division. So, for that there is floor division, which is 2 times the forward slash. So, when I write 2 times forward slash, it will give me the only integer part of the quotient, not the decimal part. Next, we have the assignment operators. So, what are assignment operators? Whenever we are going to assign certain value to any variable, it is assignment operator. So, assignment operator is simple, equal to sign. If I write x equal to 5 means I am assigning 5 to x. Now, there are various shortened assignment operators also which are being supported by Python. So I can write plus equal to, multiply equal to, divide equal to, modulus equal to, which means what? Which means if I am writing plus equal to, it is x plus equal to 5, which means x is equals to x plus 5. Now x multiply equal to 5, which means x equal to x multiply 5, and so on. So I can use one operator along with the assignment operator and merge that into a single statement, which is nothing but the expanded form is written here also. Next, the Python comparison operator. So comparison operators always give result in true and false form, because we are comparing two or more data. So for that we have comparison operators: equal, not equal, greater than, less than, greater than equal to, or less than equal to. So these are the various operators which are simple enough or same as supported by other programming languages also. So if I am writing double equal to, it means I am comparing whether the two values are equal or not. So for example, if I have taken 5 and 3 are the two values. So if I write x equal to y, that is 5 equal to 3, answer will be false, because 5 is not equal to 3. Next, for not equal. So x not equal to y, what should be the answer? Answer is true, because 5 is not equal to 3. So I can say that this statement will return true value. Next is greater than, that is 5 is greater than 3. Again answer is true, because 5 is greater than 3. Next, less than, 5 is less than 3. Answer is false, so it will return false. Now, greater than equal, 5 is greater than equal to 3. Answer is true. Less than equal, 5 is less than equal to 3, which means false. So every time you can see that output what we are getting is either true or false based upon the comparison results. So comparison operators always yield result in true and false form, and we always get result in this way only. We do not get any integer number or any other type of data. We always get a result in the form of true and false form. So next we have logical operators. Now, logical operators are used to combine conditional statements. When we have multiple conditions present within our program, and we want to merge those conditions to perform certain operation, for that purpose we require logical operations. So generally we have three logical operations which are used widely, that is AND, OR and NOT. Apart from this, we do not require any kind of logical operations, because maximum time these three operations are more than enough to perform all the merging. That is, AND means both the conditions. If we are taking more than one conditions, then in that particular case both conditions must be combined. That is, both conditions when be true, then the result is true. OR means either of the condition, one condition is true, another is false. In that case, result is true, and NOT is the reverse. If we are providing true data, it will return false, and when we are providing false data, it will return true. So it is up to us what kind of merging we require for the combination of the conditions. So I hope the data types and the operator concept is clear to you. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss some more new topic. Thank you so much.